20 plants that grow even if you forget about them. Everyone has been there. You buy a beautiful little plant, put it in the living room or on the balcony. You're excited for the first few days, but then you forget to water it, prune it, or even look at it. Then, when you remember, the plant is withered, dry, or even dead. But you don't need to feel guilty. There are plants that are true warriors. They survive even when we forget about them. They are perfect for those who don't have time, travel a lot, or simply aren't good at gardening. In this text, we will show you 20 plants that grow practically alone. They don't need a lot of water, they can withstand strong sun or shade, and some even look beautiful even without attention. We will explain each one in a simple way, as if we were talking in the kitchen, having a coffee. No complicated scientific names or difficult rules. Just what you need to know to have beautiful plants without stress. Why are some plants more resistant? Some plants survive better when forgotten because they came from places where nature is harsh. Imagine a desert, where it rains little and is very hot, or a dense forest, where sunlight barely reaches the ground. These plants have learned to store water, grow slowly, or adapt to low light. They are like that friend who can handle everything. If you pay attention, great. If it doesn't, they remain firm. Other plants are resilient because they have thick leaves, strong roots, or stems that store water, like a reservoir. It's as if they had a bottle of water hidden away for dry days. And there are those that grow so slowly that they don't even seem to need care. Just plant it and leave it there. The 20 plants that don't need you, let's take them one by one, with easy tips for caring, or not caring, for them. 1. Cactus. The cactus is the king of forgotten plants. He lives in the desert, so he is used to little water and a lot of sun. If you water it once a month, it will be happy. There are several types: round, tall, with thorns, or even colorful. Just place it in a vase with soil that dries quickly. Garden soil mixed with sand will do, and leave it in the sun. If you forget to water it, it won't die. Just don't leave standing water in the dish, otherwise the roots will rot. 2. Succulents. Succulents are cousins to cacti, but they have chubby leaves instead of spines. They store water in their leaves, so they don't need frequent watering. Once a week is enough, and even then, if you forget, they can handle it. They like the sun, but it doesn't have to be that strong midday sun. A window with light is enough. If the leaves are wilted, it is a sign that they are thirsty. If they turn yellow, it means too much water. 3. Sword of St. George. This plant is almost indestructible. It can withstand sun, shade, little water, and even air conditioning. The leaves are tough and upright, like swords, and may be green or yellow striped. It's great for placing in corners of the house or office. Water only when the soil is dry, which can be every 15 days or even more. If you forget about it for months, it will still be there, firm. 4. Zamioculca. Zamioculca is that plant with shiny, dark green leaves that look like plastic. It grows slowly and tolerates little light, so it's perfect for bathrooms or rooms without windows. Water only when the soil is dry, which can be once a month. If the leaves turn yellow, it is a sign that you are watering too much. She also doesn't like direct sun, so she can stay away from the window. 5. Elephant's paw. This plant has a thick trunk at the base, which looks like an elephant's foot, and long leaves at the top. It stores water in the trunk, so it doesn't need much watering. Place it in a pot with soil that dries quickly and leave it in a place with indirect light. Water every 15 days, more or less. If you forget, it won't die, it will just grow more slowly. 6. Aloe vera. Aloe vera. Aloe vera is famous for its fleshy leaves, which have a gel used for burns and hydration. She likes the sun, but it doesn't have to be the strong midday sun. Water only when the soil is dry, which could be every 10 or 15 days. If the leaves become thin and withered, it is a sign that it needs water. If they turn yellow, you are watering too much. 7. Peace lily. This plant has bright green leaves and white flowers that look like a lily. It likes shade and humidity, but doesn't need a lot of water. Water when the soil is dry to the touch, which can be once a week. If the leaves are drooping, it is a sign that it is thirsty. It also helps clean the air in the house, so it's a great option for bedrooms. 8. Boa constrictor. The boa constrictor is a vine with heart-shaped leaves. It grows quickly and can be hung or placed on shelves. It likes indirect light, but can handle even darker places. Water when the soil is dry, which can be once a week. If you forget to water, the leaves may become wilted, but they will return to normal after a good watering. 9. São Jorge lance similar to the St. George's sword, but the leaves are thinner and longer, like spears. It is also super resistant and can withstand sun, shade, and little water. Water only when the soil is dry, which can be every 15 days. It is a plant that requires almost no work. 10. Agave agave is a plant that looks like a giant pineapple, with thick, pointy leaves. He likes the sun and hardly needs water. Water once a month, or even less. It is perfect for gardens or large pots. Just be careful with the tips of the leaves, which are sharp. 11. Ivy is a fast-growing vine that can be used to cover walls or furniture. She likes indirect light and regular watering, but if she forgets to water, she can handle it. If the leaves become wilted, just water them and they will return to normal. It is a plant that gives a home a special charm. 12. Croton. The croton is a colorful plant, with leaves in shades of red, yellow, and orange. It likes sun and regular watering, but if you forget to water it, it won't die. You will only have less vibrant leaves. Water when the soil is dry to the touch, which can be once a week. 13. Dracaena. The Dracaena is a plant with long, narrow leaves, which can be green or striped. It likes indirect light and moderate watering. Water when the soil is dry, which can be every 10 days. If you forget to water, it can handle it, but the leaves may become dry at the tips. 14. Kalanchoe. The kalanchoe is a succulent with colorful flowers. He likes sun and little water. Water only when the soil is dry, which could be every 10 or 15 days. If you forget to water it, it won't die, only the flowers may fall. It is a plant that adds a cheerful touch to the home. 15. Rufus palm. This palm tree is small and has thin, delicate leaves. She likes indirect light and regular watering, but if she forgets to water, she can handle it. Water when the soil is dry to the touch, which can be once a week. It is a plant that brings a tropical air to the home. 16. Chlorophytum. Thai. Chlorophytum is a plant with long, narrow leaves, which can be green or with white stripes. He likes indirect light and regular watering, but if he forgets to water, he can handle it. Water when the soil is dry, which can be once a week. It also produces seedlings that can be replanted. 17. Sansevieria, sword of St. George, but with variations. We've already talked about St. George's sword, but Sansevieria has several species, all super resistant. Some have shorter leaves, others longer, but all can withstand little water and light. Water only when the soil is dry, which can be every 15 days. 18. Yucca yucca is a plant with long, pointed leaves that looks like a small tree. She likes sun and little water. Water only when the soil is dry, which can be every 15 days. If you forget to water it, it won't die. It is a plant that gives a desert feel to the decor. 19. Philodendron. The philodendron is a vine with heart-shaped leaves. It likes indirect light and regular watering, but if you forget to water it, it can handle it. Water when the soil is dry, which can be once a week. It is a plant that grows quickly and can be used to decorate shelves. 20. Portulaca, 11 o'clock. 11 hour is a plant with colorful flowers that opens during the day and closes at night. She likes sun and little water. Water only when the soil is dry, which can be every 10 days. If you forget to water it, it won't die, only the flowers may wither. It is a plant that adds a cheerful touch to the garden or vase. Tips for caring, or not caring, for these plants. Now that you know the 20 plants, here are some tips to keep them alive even if you forget about them. Water only when the soil is dry. Stick your finger in the soil. If it's damp, you don't need to water it. If it's dry, then it's time to water it. Use pots with holes. Pots without holes accumulate water and can rot the roots. If the pot doesn't have a hole, place pebbles in the bottom to help it drain. Light is important, but not all plants need direct sun. Some plants like shade, others indirect light. Notice where the plant looks best. You don't need to fertilize all the time. These plants are resistant and don't need fertilizer every month. Once every 3 months is enough. If you forget, don't despair. Most of these plants return to normal after a good watering or a period of rest. Final summary: having plants at home makes the environment more beautiful and cozy, but not everyone has the time or patience to take care of them. The good news is that there are plants that survive even when forgotten. They are like those people who can handle everything. If you pay attention, great. If it doesn't, they remain firm. The 20 plants listed here are easy to care for and perfect for those who are not good at gardening. Cacti, succulents, St. George's sword, Zamioculca, and others are great options. They don't need a lot of water, they can handle sun or shade, and some even look beautiful even without care. So, if you want to have plants at home, but keep forgetting about them, choose one of these. Choose a pot with holes, place it in a place with the right light, and only water when the soil is dry. The rest, they do alone. This way, you can have a green corner without stress and guilt. Here are some more tips for getting along with these resistant plants. First, you don't have to worry about buying expensive pots or complicated fertilizers. A simple clay or plastic vase will do the trick. The important thing is that it has holes underneath for the water to drain, because soaking the soil is the biggest mistake you can make. If the water remains stagnant, the roots rot and the plant dies, even the strongest ones. Another thing, light is important, but each plant likes it differently. The St. George's sword, for example, is happy in both the sun and the shade. Cactus and succulents prefer direct sun, but can handle a little shade if that's not possible. If you live in a place without a lot of natural light, Zamioculca is a great choice, because it survives even in environments with little light. And about watering, the trick is simple. Wait for the soil to dry completely before watering again. To know if it's time, stick your finger about 2 centimeters into the soil. If it comes out dirty, there is still water. If it comes out dry, you can water it. In the summer, you may need to water once a week, but in the winter, some of these plants can last up to a month without water. Just observe and adjust. If you travel a lot or live busy, these plants are perfect. They won't die if you forget about them for a few days, or even weeks. And the best part, many of them grow slowly, so you don't need to keep pruning or changing pots all the time. Aloe vera, for example, can stay in the same pot for years without any problems. The boa constrictor, in addition to being resistant, also grows beautifully and can even be hung, making the house more charming. Another advantage is that several of these plants help to make the air cleaner. The sword of St. George and the peace lily, for example, filter toxins from the environment. So, in addition to decorating, they also improve the air quality in your home. And if you have pets, be aware, some, like the peace lily, can be toxic to dogs and cats. In this case, opt for safe plants, such as peanut grass or calathea. Finally, you don't need to be afraid of making mistakes. These plants are so resistant that even those who kill everything can keep them alive. If a leaf turns yellow or wilts, don't despair. Sometimes, you just cut off the ugly part and wait for the plant to recover. The important thing is not to give up. Over time, you will get the hang of it and even get excited about taking care of other, less resistant plants. So, if you want to start having plants at home, but don't know where, start with one of these 20 options. Choose the one that best suits your space and lifestyle. Then, just let nature do the work and enjoy the green without stress. After all, having plants should be a pleasure, not a source of worry. Here are some more tips to help you keep these plants alive without any hassle. First, remember that most of them prefer indirect light, meaning they don't need to be exposed to strong sun all day. A corner near the window, but without direct sun, is enough. If the plant starts to have burnt or very light leaves, it is a sign that it is getting too much sun. If the leaves are dark and falling, it could be a lack of light. Water is another important point, but without exaggeration. Overwatering is one of the most common mistakes and can kill even the most resistant plants. Before watering, stick your finger about 2 centimeters into the soil. If it is dry, you can water it. If it's still damp, wait a little longer. Each plant has its own rhythm, but most of these survivors prefer the soil to dry out a little between waterings. In winter, then, they need even less water, because growth slows down. If you travel a lot or tend to forget to water, some plants are even better suited. Zamioculca, for example, can survive weeks without water and still looks beautiful. Cactus and succulents are also great for those who disappear from home for a few days. They store water in their leaves or stems, so they survive peacefully until you return. Another cool thing about these plants is that they don't need expensive or sophisticated pots. A container with holes in the bottom to drain the water will do the trick. If you don't have one, you can even use an ice cream container or a cut plastic bottle, as long as you make a few holes in the bottom. The important thing is that the water does not accumulate, otherwise the roots will rot. And if you live in a small place, without much space, that's no problem. Many of these plants look good in small pots and even on shelves. The St. George's sword, for example, grows slowly and doesn't need much space. The boa constrictor can be hung in a corner of the room and grow little by little. giving the space a special charm. If you have children at home, some of these plants are great for teaching them about responsibility. Aloe vera, for example, in addition to being resistant, can also be used to relieve burns. It's a way of showing that plants are not just decorations, but can also be useful. And don't worry if, at first, a plant doesn't thrive. Even those who have experience have lost some along the way. The cool thing is to test and see which one best suits your way of caring. Over time, you will realize that some like more water, others less light, and so you will adjust their care. Lastly, remember that plants like a little attention too. From time to time, wipe the dust off the leaves with a damp cloth. This helps them breathe better and look more beautiful. And if you notice any pests, like mealybugs or aphids, don't panic. Just wipe a cotton pad with water and neutral soap or even a little neem oil, which is natural and doesn't harm the plant. Having plants at home is a delight. They make the environment happier, purify the air, and also help you relax. With these sturdy options, it's easy to get started and gain confidence. Then, who knows, you might be encouraged to take care of other, more demanding tasks. The important thing is to go at your own pace and enjoy each stage. And if you still forget to water or leave the plant in a dark corner for a while, don't worry. These plants that we are going to list are true warriors and can stand firm even with a few mistakes. They are perfect for those just starting out, for those who travel a lot, or even for those who simply don't have the time or patience for daily care. Let's get to know some of them. 1. Espada de Sir Jorge. This plant is almost indestructible. It can withstand strong sun, shade, lack of water, and even air conditioning. Furthermore, it is great for purifying the air, removing toxins such as benzene and formaldehyde. It is common to see this plant in offices and building corridors, because it survives practically anywhere. 2. Zamioculca, also known as the ZZ plant. It has shiny, dark leaves that add a special charm to the environment. It grows slowly and doesn't need much water. If you water it once a month, it is already a good size. And the best part, it looks beautiful in both light and shadow. 3. Cacti and succulents. These little plants are the queens of resistance. They store water in their leaves or stems, so they don't need frequent watering. A cactus can go months without water and still remain strong. Just be careful not to overwater, because excess water is what kills these plants the most. 4. Elephant's paw. This plant has a thick trunk full of personality, which really resembles an elephant's foot. It likes the sun, but it also adapts well to semi-shade. Water only when the soil is dry, as it doesn't like to get wet. 5. Boa constrictor, a climbing plant that looks beautiful on shelves or hanging in pots. She grows quickly and is super adaptable. It can be kept in low-light environments and does not need a lot of water. If you forget to water it, it won't die, but the leaves may become a little wilted. Just give it a little water and it will return to normal. 6. Peace lily. This plant is beautiful and also helps to improve air quality. It likes shade and doesn't need a lot of water. If the leaves start to fall, it is a sign that it needs a little more humidity. But don't worry, because she recovers quickly. 7. Aloe vera. Aloe vera. In addition to being a beautiful plant, aloe vera has medicinal properties. The gel inside the leaves is great for burns and moisturizing the skin. She likes the sun and doesn't need a lot of water. If you forget to water it, it will be fine because it stores water in its leaves. 8. Lance de Sir Jorge, similar to Espada de Sir Jorge, but with narrower and longer leaves. It is also super resistant and can handle the lack of water and electricity well. It's a great option for those who want a plant that requires almost no work. 9. Ivy, a climbing plant that grows quickly and looks beautiful in hanging pots. It likes semi-shade and doesn't need a lot of water. If you forget to water it, it may become a little wilted, but it will soon recover. 10. Agave. This plant is similar to aloe vera, but it has more rigid and pointed leaves. She likes the sun and doesn't need a lot of water. It is a great option for those who want a resistant and exotic-looking plant. These are just some of the many plants that tolerate forgetfulness well. The cool thing is that, even though they are resistant, they still bring life and beauty to the house. And the best part, you can test and see which one best suits your lifestyle. If a plan doesn't work out, don't give up. Try another, change location or adjust watering. Over time, you'll get the hang of it and discover which ones are your favorites. And remember, the important thing is to have fun and enjoy the process. Plants are living beings that bring joy, so enjoy every moment with them.